Okay, welcome everyone to BlockRocket monthly pitch event. So before the event starts, I would like to talk quickly about the event logistic. As this event is going to be big, everyone is going to be muted except for the speakers. If you want to discuss during the event, you can join this WhatsApp group by scanning the QR code. You can ask all the questions for startups there or also discuss within each other, and it's a good way to stay in touch. That is from my side. I hope you enjoy the event. And now I will pass over to Sarah, our moderator, to start the event. Sarah, do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Alexandra. I will quickly share my screen. So, hello everyone. Good morning. So, myself, I'm Sagar Barwalia, Head of Venture Development of BlockRocket. We are an early stage startup investor and accelerator program located in Germany. We are highly blockchain agnostic startup investor. We only invest in blockchain based startups, but German ecosystem is very highly relevant for us. We have invested in startup around the world, but once we invest into the startup, for them, the German ecosystem should be highly relevant. So once we invest into startup, they become part of our acceleration program that runs for like 2 years. In these 2 years, we help all our startup with like matchmaking, marketing, advisory, and mentorship. We handpick like 5 to 10 blockchain startup per year. So basically, our target is like to invest into early stage and seed startups very early as possible. And we put like approximately 100 to 250,000 euro in terms of ticket size. So in nutshell, this is our ecosystem. We receive like 200 plus applications per year. We are working with top 30 VCs around the dark region. They are in our partner network. We're also working with infrastructure provider, all the companies who is working directly, indirectly into blockchain space. We also have like top 10 plus law firms in our partner network. We are doing approximately 3 events per month. So basically 25 plus events per year. And end of the year, we also organize like one of the biggest event of Germany, which is like German Blockchain Award. You will also get some information very soon by end of this month or next month. So in nutshell, basically we are like highly blockchain agnostic. You can see that in terms of like other acceleration program, we are very small, but we are very blockchain focused and German ecosystem is very relevant for us. We have like a sophisticated application process. So if you are startup founders or you are planning to launch your startup, then if you are planning to raise the fund, then you can go through our website, www.blockrocket.io, and you can take part and fill out the application pro. And basically there are like several different processes. Everything works within 4 to 6 weeks before we reach out to the investment decision. This is our team. So we are very young and highly motivated team backed by prominent shareholders, and we are also getting time to time mentorship from them. And if you are looking for funding, as I said earlier, please feel free to reach out to us. And let's stay in touch. And let me explain you how the today's event will work. So basically, we have like as always like 3 jury members and 4 startups. So each will get like 12 minutes of time. And at the end of the event, jury and audience will vote. The voting will be like 50-50%, and we'll give away like monthly favorite at the end of the event. Fantastic. So moving further, I would like to ask like our jury members to introduce themselves. So let's start with Wolfgang. Hi, Wolfgang. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sagar. Hi, it's everyone. It's Wolfgang here. I'm a partner of Blockchain Founders Group, and we work quite closely with BlockRocket, which is always a pleasure. We are a company builder and a venture capital firm with currently over 20 investments under our belt in the blockchain space. Our focus is on the early stage phase of startups with tickets up to €500,000. We just upped that recently from 250, so it's now a bit more. Glad to be on the jury today with Sarah, Sabrina, and Pranav, and excited to hear from our pitch candidates.
Thank you, Wolfgang. Moving further, we have Sarah from Antler. Sarah, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Good morning. Sarah, a director at Antler, really happy to be here and thank you for having me. Antler is a global early stage venture capital firm and we invest in the world's most exceptional people. We have in Central Europe in Berlin, we're quite new in the region, but we've recently reached a milestone and made investments into 8 companies. And they span fintech, proptech, edtech, and health tech. So a wide variety there. I guess my focus at Antler really is to build and grow operations across the region of Central Europe. And we have ambitions to invest into over 160 companies over the next 4 years. But thank you for having me.
Welcome, Sarah. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for your time. Moving further, last but not least, we have Pranav. Pranav, can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. This is Pranav here. I'm a founding partner of Woodstock Fund, and we have made about 40 investments odd over the past 3 years. I've known Sagar for a while now. I really, look up to him and the amazing work that he has been doing in this space, the passion that he brings to the table. So, when he mentioned about this, I definitely wanted to be here in this forum, and of course, it's a great opportunity to, connect with all of you. Our funds, are, I would say we have 2 funds right now. We have a feeder and we are setting up a feeder in Middle East. Similarly, there's a US fund, which is also coming up. Once again, our focus is blockchain space. We have been investing into 4 areas, which is infrastructure, DeFi, tokenization, Web 3.0. And our thesis runs for the past, so it's been the same thesis for the past 4 years. Our logic is unless, these components are fairly mature, application layer would not become truly consumer grade. We are extremely excited about this space because this space has the potential of not only creating, I would say, very interesting disintermediated applications, but also there's a possibility of addressing white spaces and most importantly, convergence of other emerging and traditional technologies. So extremely excited to evaluate, startups and see all the good work that has been put together here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Pranav, for your kind words, and thank you for joining us today. So moving further to the event, before we start, I would like to ask our audience and members, if you have any questions for the startup founders later on, please join our WhatsApp group. And then let's start with Antonio. We have Antonio from OracleofDe.fi. Antonio, you can start presenting.
Let me unmute. And let me share my screen. Okay, so can you see my screen? You can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, perfectly. Okay, so hi everyone, and thanks for joining. I'm Antonio, CEO and Head of Engineering here at OracleofDe.fi. OracleofDe.fi is an investor-focused, crypto investor-focused, and AI-powered tool to perform analysis and guidance currently focused on the Ethereum blockchain. The problem that we are facing from a crypto investor perspective can be divided into some small problems. The first one is a research. There's a sea of project and the crypto investor needs to research. Then when it finds a project needs to give an evaluation, a true evaluation, and that takes time. So basically need a guidance, okay, to be moved in what are the new emerging projects, if they are good, and what are the feedbacks of the community. There are, of course, solutions in this space, like going with manual flows, following notification channels, use tools that currently are only focused on blockchain data, and so on. Our solution instead wanted to be an easy way to start reducing the noise that a crypto investor can find on the chain, and instead focus on what matters. PTI is the name we gave to our algorithm. And it's basically a rank of the projects that are gaining more attention in a very early stage. Token identity is the next step where giving a project, you can find more information about, also in terms of who is investing in it, what are the movement that people are doing on that, what are the goal of this project, and so on. And finally, IP protection is a small part of our application where you can even get the notification about how safe it is to invest in this project, not in terms of is it potentially good or not, but in terms of there's a risk I can get robbed or whatever, because it's a common problem for crypto investors in the space. The product is a simple web app you can access on our website. Currently, we have launched a beta starting from 2 weeks. It's a limited beta. You need an ODF beta token that's non-tradable. So if you need one, just contact us, we can give you. Currently, there are 20 users. We are planning to go to the 100 by the end of September, by the beginning of September. And currently, we have 62% daily active users. The advantages of this tool is that we have full token support. So there's not a limited set of tokens you can search and scrape inside. We don't use only chain source. We connect with AI also social sources like Twitter or financial sources like Uniswap or CoinGecko. Okay, our models are historical based. We reindex the whole Ethereum blockchain, and this allows you to timely spot as a crypto investor to spot new projects. The market size, it says that there are 100 million users in the crypto space, but most of them works on centralized exchanges. We are looking at DeFi, so the centralized finance, where currently there are $15 million in total value locked, and only 200,000 active users, and this data of 200,000 has been extracted from our data lake, so with our queries, and this number is highly increasing month over month. The business model we are planning is to launch a token sale that will kickstart the project. A token has a very limited supply of 6,000, and who owns at least one token has lifetime access to the platform. Then a second phase, we plan to start a subscription model that will begin in January 2022. It's a more traditional model. Okay, we'll go along, of course, with the token, and allows you to pay a monthly fee to access the platform. And our goal is to reach 200,000 monthly revenue by the end of 2022, so more than a year from now. From a financial point of view, what we're looking now is the seed around 180,000 that will allow us to incorporate the company, get legal advice, and kickstart all the process. And then when this is set, we can start what we should before, so the token sale, and then later in 2022, the subscription model. The team, as I said before, I'm Antonio, and with Federico, I've been working a previous experience on privacy-focused passwordless authentication system. Federico here works as lead data scientist, is more involved in the backend area, so technical part, while I'm more involved with what concerns the blockchain, so talking with contacts and all this stuff. Finally, Ali that we met in our previous experience as he was our office neighbor there. He has been in crypto space since 2015, working different projects, more from with an eye of the investor, or as also a community moderator. And Ali was the spark that made everything start, because while me and Federico has more a technical view, he has more a research, crypto user view of the project. That was a quick sum up of what OracleofDe.fi has. These are our contacts, and now feel free to ask me any questions.
Thank you, Antonio. I would like to ask jury members if you have any questions.
Yeah, let me go first.
Yes, sir.
Pranav, you're next. Thank you, Antonio. I'm trying to understand your customer profile, like your target audience, in a better way. Can you speak to me about your targeted early adopters a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. That's also where we are starting the release of the beta token. So we target small crypto investors groups, and when I mean crypto investors, I'm not talking maybe about a large VC, but users that do that professionally, okay, so on a daily basis, and are trying to spot project in their very early stage, okay, so not investors that tend to invest, let me make an example, on very well-known coins, but that try to spot new projects that are bringing innovation to the space and invest them in the very, very early stage.
Okay, and do you have examples of those?
Currently, there are mainly communities that we target. For example, on Twitter, we are talking with some of them. Names are vary, like the CryptoJam or something like that. And those are very, very small groups or audience of people that tend to, again, share, discuss, talk about very early groups. This is where we are also recruiting our beta users that while getting the access to the platform for free, we are collecting a lot of feedbacks that are helping us building the product that target for these people.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks, Sarah.
Pranav, I think you have a question. Please go ahead.
Yes. So I think just taking part of the question that Sarah asked. So my question here is: your product is a combination of on-chain analytics and risk profiling, and you're targeting, I would say, retail customers right now. And you're saying right now you're not looking at larger customers, let's say bigger VCs, institutions, etc. So my question would be that if you look at this space, many on-chain analytics solutions which are out there and which have practically
sorry, I lost the last part of the audio because it was like broken.
So
you were lagging.
Yeah, is it better now? Okay, let me speak slowly.
Yeah.
So there are many on-chain analytics firms right now, and there are also a lot of off-chain analytics platforms as well, right? And they're very established, of course, through Series A, whatever it is, So it's not even about that. The point is that and many of them have done indexing of the entire blockchain and blockchains. Ethereum in particular, most of them, and even other chains as well. So how do you plan to compete with them, and how do you sort of accelerate your product in a way that you are meaningful to not only retail audience, which is community, but also to more larger audience? For example, let's say as a fund also we require these services.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good point where you were pointing up of looking at only blockchain. What we did, knowing that there are already a lot of tools also indexing the blockchain and working on that, we try to give a more wide view that's not only focused on chain, but involves like community feedbacks. How is the feeling around this project? So being able to give all this information in a single view, so that if VC, for example, like you are maybe is getting aware of a project that is getting interested and would like to find out more, is able with our tool in a glimpse to get a lot of information about that. Okay, so if we say on one side the simplicity, and the other side it's not only the simplicity, is that reducing the time required to have a VC to get critical information about the project. What I said before is that we're working now mainly with the community, that's the right word you used, investors, and that's right. But of course, our then final focus that who does that also on a bigger chain and on a bigger scale, like it can be a VC. Now we target initially a community because it's easier also to collect a lot of useful feedbacks. But in the form of that's now the product can be already used by a VC to get again more information about. And again, if you're interested, I can of course allow you the access to this platform if you like to test it, see it, and see how it goes. Actually,
Anthony,
I can give you a quick glimpse. Yeah, Sagar use it, for example. So that's the platform. It's how it's currently working. Basically, this is what we were calling before the PFIA rank inside. And these are like currently, since from our last one, that was one of the most project gaining attention. Then if you click on one of this project, you are able to collect a lot of information from this token, so who is investing, what's the record. And again, this is a beta version, and we're working on a lot of adding new features and new data on it. Now, basically, if you find a project outside and you just want to get this information, just pass the main address that refers to this token, and you get a lot of those information about.
So we have still 30 seconds left for Antonio.
Okay.
Wolfgang, if you have some questions.
My question was already asked by Pranav, so I'm fine, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Antonio. Thank you for your presentation and Q&A. You can stop sharing screen now. Okay, fantastic. So now moving further, we have Orlando from Sensefinity. Orlando, please share your screen and you can start presenting.
Hello, hi. I'm Orlando. I'm co-founder and CEO of Sensefinity. And at Sensefinity, we are creating visibility for supply chains. Now, over $1 trillion is lost every year in global supply chains. This is due to the complexity of the entire topic. But can we really afford to lose enough food every year, which could be used to feed 2 billion people? I believe not. And we are proposing the Internet of Cargo, which will bring the benefits that we saw in the offline processes in the 80s and 90s, now also translated to the supply chain projects, which are currently being managed like in the old days. So it's really now time that we can bring via digitalization all the benefits that we gathered via the internet now as well in the cargo area. So we want to be able to digitalize the entire process from production to transportation and in the end to retail and warehousing. And really autonomous cargo across the supply chain, a little bit like the packets in the internet protocol are routed automatically in the internet. We want the same to happen in the supply chain as well with actual packets. Now, in order to achieve that, we created the entire chain necessary for that, based on a sensor, which represents the real physical goods and is always tied to the asset which is being in transportation, global communications everywhere in the world, always on, then the cloud and the data lake where all the data comes in. And on top, we have the applications like, for instance, machine learning, where we are capable of forecasting the behavior of goods and what will happen to them, and the blockchain for use cases where it is important to carry certifications or carry the proof of the goods which are being transported. Now, this works both for multimodal transportation as well as for indoor retail and production facilities. And now as well with e-commerce and last mile, something which is booming during the pandemics. Now we are working with category leaders in all of these points. Daimler, the biggest truck manufacturer worldwide, Siemens, one of the most important manufacturing system suppliers, as well as, for instance, JBS and Mafric, the biggest meat producers worldwide. They're using our system in order to innovate in their supply chains, both extra supply chains and intralogistics. The technology is ready. We have now with 5G the possibility to have sensors which can live longer and which can be tracking everywhere the goods in this supply chain. The market saw via the disruptions in the pandemics during the last 1.5 years, really the need to innovate in this area. And businesses understand how applications like machine learning can really bring more value into their systems. So they are actively asking for this kind of solutions. Our team comes mostly from R&D at Nokia and Siemens. And in order to gain the know-how into global supply chains, we brought Wolfgang into our team, which used to be vice president of Danone and CEO of Löwenbräu. So he knows a lot about the global supply chain in perishable goods. In order to further enhance our network, we brought in Darren, which is the supply chain lead at Microsoft, as well as Roger, which used to be CEO at DHL. And they can bring us advice on how to expand with meaningful applications the entire ecosystem. So last year, we had 200,000 euros in sales. This year, we are on track of achieving 100,000 in monthly recurring revenue. In order to achieve this, we are currently raising a seed round, of which 600,000 euros are already committed. This seed round will go mainly into marketing, sales, and the customer support team so that we can further have the support for these global champions. So the contracts that we have now in place in order to to scale to the 100,000 euros monthly recurring revenue are with the Vodafone Group, with BAfric, and the Brazilian government. But on top of that, we are already working on the next 100,000 euros of monthly recurring revenue with additional customers in the same areas. Quite recently, we did a meeting with General Mills, which really see that this kind of approach into logistics is the future. And current customers like Fazlagida really currently are using our system in order to improve and guarantee the quality of the goods. So I count on you on helping us creating the visibility for global supply chains, and by that also to help end world hunger. Thank you.
Thank you, Orlando, for the presentation. Jury member, if you have any questions.
Yes, if I may. Thanks very much, Orlando. The link between ending world hunger and supply chain is an interesting one. I'm not sure if that's the only thing that you're solving here.
Not only no.
I've seen quite a few supply chain projects around blockchain. It makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That is the one of market entry, because there are lots of barriers of entries. People have existing logistics systems that they're using. You need to have your systems in place with various players at the same time to be able to use them. So I was wondering, how do you make it as easy as possible for your pilot partners to use your system?
This is exactly the point. It needs to be as easy as possible. So the system itself is self-installable. You don't need support from our team in order to use it. It is based on an analytics platform with APIs for integration. And we have integrations with ERP systems like SAP and also Salesforce. So this brings already the first integrations. We have integration partners like T-Systems, which can further help on integrating into existing ERP systems, as well as Self-Focus, which belongs to the Vodafone Group. So those customers can also have already a contact on how to more easily integrate their systems. But the system itself can also run standalone. So you can start using it, for instance, in the piloting phase and in the first months, without having your ERP system fully integrated as a standalone system, so that you can really start seeing and calculating the benefits before committing to an integration project.
Okay, thanks.
Any question from Pranav and Sarah side?
Sarah, if I can go this time. So my question is, are you using a public blockchain or permission blockchain? Because typically in supply chain, permission blockchain seems to be getting somewhere with all the enterprise, requirements.
Exactly, yes. We are using permission blockchain. We are using Hyperledger.
Understood. And basically, you're getting all the support from IBM?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are using IBM.
And basically, IBM, this is IBM Europe or IBM Europe, Middle East, or which one is it?
Currently Europe. We are currently in Europe, although we are starting internationalization first with Brazil. So we are expanding together with our markets. And it's quite an interesting question that you posed about the Middle East, because the use cases that we have in Brazil, it's regarding the meat exports to Arab countries. So they are using the blockchain to certify the halal certificates, so that the export to Arab countries is facilitated. And one thing that I didn't know, 25% of the Brazilian meat production is actually exported to halal certification countries. So it's really an interesting problem, because it's a very business relevant problem for the Brazilian meat industry.
I totally agree with you. And basically to synergize, because there are so many, you can say, enterprise level applications which have been built around supply chain. And there have also been attempts around cross enterprise application layers around supply chain, very much similar to the question that Wolfgang asked.
Yeah.
And there has been an issue in terms of fungibility of the data, potentially accessibility of the data, visibility of the chain data, because some of these things, I would say indirectly, I'm not saying directly, but privacy has been a bit of a concern even in permission blockchain, because a lot of business sensitive data is something that most of the enterprises don't want to share, even in the same industry. So how do you intend to get over it?
So currently we are basing on the concept of channels in Hyperledger to get the visibility of parts of the blockchain. So you are able to show only part of the blockchain with one system partner, and the other part you show to other system partners. So you can really use the channel system for having this separation of visibility between the different parts of the supply chains. So if you are the owner of the asset in transportation, you can really fine tune who sees your data and what part of your data they see. For instance, for claims issues, you can really limit the visibility on a claim event on that part where you identified that the claim action happened. So you can really have this fine tuning. It gets expensive with scalability. The more people you get into your supply chain, the more expensive it gets because of the scalability of Hyperledger. But it's still a solution. Thank you.
We still have time for one more question. So maybe Sarah, a question.
Yeah, just a quick question from my side. I see that you mentioned that you've engaged with several category leaders already. I know that you mentioned Daimler. Can you speak a little bit about those conversations? I mean, the uptake of interest, like value add, be great.
Yes. So for instance, we are now strong in the meat industry. There is really this huge meat cluster in Brazil, which we are currently driving, and we are transporting it to Germany as well, because Germany also has big meat producers which export to Arabic countries. The same happens in Norway, where we have the fish farms with Leroy and Salmar. So we are also engaging in those use cases. In the fish part, it's quite interesting because we have a lot of mislabeled fish in the market. So it's a huge problem for the consumer. And then the export of fish, because fish is a very fungible item, needs a lot of attention. So the data which is stored in the blockchain, which comes from the sensor, is a great addition to this data as well. So I believe that mainly these big market leaders are very, very interested in creating now the foundations of this innovative new supply chain, which can bring on the benefits in the future and show that they are really the thought leaders, and will therefore also become the market dominant parties in those future supply chains.
Yeah, and do you have, I mean, engagement-wise, do you have LOIs, or are you already kind of doing business with them? Is this just?
So it's all of them. They are either paying customers or paying pilots.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Orlando.
You're welcome.
Thank you, jury members, and thank you, Orlando. You can stop sharing your screen now. Then we have the next startup in our lineup is Rey Fernando from CurioInvest. Fernando, please go ahead and start sharing your screen.
Hello, everyone. Fernando speaking. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
I'm sharing my screen now, so you should be able to see a presentation. All right, so welcome everyone. This is Fernando, CEO and co-founder of CurioInvest. CurioInvest is a platform that brings a technology stack for real-world asset NFTs and makes them compliant with DeFi. Now the company started out of an idea at Oxford, where we were asked what is it that we're going to do with our life. And at that point, after working on the private equity space and taking part of a couple of exits here in Switzerland, ETH spinoff, we realized that one of our use cases that we picked up was real-world asset tokenization. And this has the potential to genuinely change and shape the future, both of blockchain, but also of sustainability. Now, the company was bootstrapped in 2018. Today, we have about 2,000 community members. We have about 150,000 in monthly revenue. We have about $1 million in sales. And there's a pipeline of real world assets that we're tokenizing, worth about $300 million. The project was actually picked up by UBS as the top Swiss fintech out of 425 companies. And if you're wondering what Curio means, basically Curio means a rare and interesting object, an object that invokes curiosity. So as you may imagine, we have a story of first. Basically, after we tokenized the world's first asset via crowdfunding platform, this was thanks to the first regulatory compliance setup out of Liechtenstein. We reached about $1 million worth of traction. We also created our own stablecoin, which enables our users who have tokenized or who have a real world asset to tap into unprecedented liquidity. And we recently started with collateralized loans. Basically, the team has 3 co-founders, senior and investors in crypto since 2013, as well as industry experts that bring previous transactions and experience, as well as network within the collectible world. You're talking about rare assets such as a collectible rare car or a fine painting. We also have a very exciting advisory board coming from N26, as well as some experts in the collectible world who see the opportunity in this space. We're looking to raise about 3.5 million with a cap to 5 million in what will be a venture capital deal to expand our operations. So far, we have about 1 million committed. And if you want more information about the token related to this offering, I'll be happy to forward it after this presentation. In addition to this round, we're also running a credit facility where we have already 25 million committed in form of DAI. The target is to have $50 million committed for this. The funds will be effectively used to streamline the tokenization of real world assets. And we call it sustainable link because in addition to tokenize these real world assets, we are offsetting the carbon footprint that these real world assets have generated. Now, what makes Curio unique is really the way in which we align with our partners. We effectively provide an incentivized setup for users to continuously submit real world assets into our platform. We have one of the leading token structures in a compliant manner, approved by FMA, and the tech team comes basically from ETH, which is one of the leading universities here in Switzerland. And what we see here as a high-end potential for investors is generally the economies of scale that comes up with growing the project. Now, what you see here today is that crypto is going from a junk technology to a mature setup. And what you see in the next years is that DLT will permeate other asset classes such as equity. However, one that grows the most is X at the top, and this represents other tokenable assets such as physical real world assets. Turns out there's a certain demand for this, but there's really no bridge to link these real world assets to crypto. And the reason for that is that in addition to having the whole regulatory setup, you require partners to take care end to end. And that effectively provides some incentive as well as reputation-driven logistics in order for this to work in a compliant and successful manner. So basically, Curio has developed that. We focus on collectible rare cars today, and the framework can expand to any other real-world assets. What you see is that these assets benefit from 5 major features. When you look at the rare collectible, you're looking at the high-end ticket that has pretty much no analytics, that would benefit by tokenizing this real asset as more more trades are happening, and therefore a better price discovery takes place. Likewise, customers would then benefit from access to liquidity, meaning they will be able to take a Lombard loan on their real-world assets, which is so far unprecedented in today's traditional finance. And ultimately, thanks to tokenization, you would effectively open access to these lucrative asset class that were previously limited to essentially wealthy individuals. We see this as a new TRA market, TRA by tokenized real assets. And this is only possible thanks to NFTs, fractional NFTs, as well as a regulatory wrapping that comes along that makes this compliant security token that can trade at regulated stock exchanges, as well as a grapper token that makes it possible for it to trade on DeFi and leverage into liquidity pools. So basically what CurioInvest is doing is splitting ownership from the economic benefit, and therefore enabling many users, a greater audience, to tap into these assets in a way that they could not do so in the past. This is all possible via a platform in which you sign up as a user. Within less than 50 minutes, you get access to a deal flow of curated assets via our industry experts and our community. In addition to this, you also have the opportunity to submit your real world assets, mint an NFT, and provided that the community accepts your assets, to get a loan on that. Now, what's very unique about CurioInvest is that we're working with a leading carbon credit provider here in Switzerland, which enable us to assess the carbon footprint each asset has generated and therefore offset it. And this means that the more our project grows, the more tokenized real assets we manage to bring to the table, the more carbon carbon we can offset. The person you see in the right is me. This is some of the assets in our pipeline today. You're looking at the warehouse at bonded warehouse where these assets are stored in a climate control and fireproof setup. You're looking at rare cars, but there's also a special compartments for fine art and so forth. The way it works is very simple. We source these assets. We use our credit facility to purchase them if needed before anyone else. And ultimately, we wrap it within our regulatory or novel regulatory setup. Users line up into the underwriting, and they either purchase or secure their allocation, or they get to purchase a token once it's listed at a secondary market. Once you hold the token, say you invested in a Ferrari, then we lure you into our DAO so that you tap into our services such as getting liquidity on your token and shaping the future of the protocol that it's enabling this to happen. Now, the market potential for non-bankable assets, for real assets, is substantial. When you look at the wealth of high net worth individuals, you see that about 60% is on bonds and equities. However, the rest is on non-bankables, or let's say physical real-world assets. You see that collectibles equals twice their investment already as their startups. Therefore, you're looking at a sizable market. We're focusing on classic and supercars because they have performed the best over the last 10 years based on several research, and there's a very curated go-to-market community that we can tap. Basically, every deal is a few keywords that we can run a marketing campaign and have a very targeted approach. If you are a Ferrari fan, we reach out to you. If you're a Porsche fan, we reach out to you via Porsche keywords. Now, Curio is taking a vertical approach. There's few competitors in the space that have raised venture-backed rounds. We're looking at, on the one hand, Compound, Maker, as well as Nifty, and so forth. Basically, we're at the intersection of three main, let's say, pillars: NFT marketplaces, a stable coin, as well as a tokenization platform. And within CurioInvest, we believe that you can come into a single DeFi hub and tap into these services via one-stop shop. Now, we have about $150,000 in revenue, resulting in about 1.1 million in sales. We're growing our user base today around 800 investors sign up, about 20% growing on a monthly basis. And our DAO was ranked recently among the 30 biggest globally. We are of the opinion the time is now. There's excessive printing, major endowments, and now even DeFi protocols are supporting real world assets, and not only with text, but also with 25 million in our self-committed recycle capital, capital facility.
Sorry. Hello, Fernando. Sorry to interrupt you, but your 12 minutes is over. So I have to interrupt you. I'm sorry for that because we still have one more startup to go. So I would ask, do you remember to please, if you have some question, write down in Zoom chat so everyone can look at it, our community member, and also Fernando, you can answer in Zoom chat. So also our audience can see your answer. Thanks a lot for your presentation. And you can stop sharing the screen now. So now moving further, we have last but not least, Evelyn Mora from Paris. Hi, Evelyn, good morning. She's building amazing things for NFT. So you can start sharing your screen and time start now.
All right, so thank you so much for having me. My name is Evelyn Mora. I'm the CEO and founder of Digital Village. Digital Village is a sustainable multiplayer massively online metaverse built on Unreal Engine. Our company purpose is, Our company purpose is basically to be the world's first interactive digital space for fashion. And we believe that digital fashion plays a huge role in creating more immersive future metaverses. And we basically really want to bring sustainability, transparency into socializing in the fashion industry. And we believe that the tech tools are actually there to help us to make the real fashion industry more sustainable. So I built with my team the first 3D Fashion Week ever last August, and we actually reached over 500,000 Gen Zers. And some of the elements or pain points that we found out were users asking, what do I do with my NFTs? What is a blockchain? How does it benefit me? How can I participate and create or sell assets and essentially enter this virtual economy? And we have basically focused on tackling these challenges, and our users in Digital Village can say that I can purchase and utilize my NFTs right away. I can create my own assets and earn. I can create my own environments. I can follow my community on blockchain in real time, and I can socialize with my friends and take part in events. Here is some of the numbers of Digital Village 1. It was a 1-week event in August 2020. And on the left, you can see some of our digital assets that we created. We had approximately 40,000 daily users from 54 different countries. And we had over 700,000 views during our streaming. And we created over 300 digital assets. Here is some of the attention that we received from the media. So we got 3.5 million euro worth of earned media value, and we reached 470 million Gen Zers. And on the left, there is some of these examples of the media publications that featured us. And on the right, you can see my avatar that lives in Digital Village. So our main target audience, Gen Alpha, Gen Zers, and crypto enthusiasts. I've been working on generation research since 2016, and that's basically what I'm very passionate about. So I've been working on communicating sustainability to these young generations and studying their lifestyles. And for us in Digital Village to connect digital tools, fashion with the lifestyles of these new generations is really exciting. But we're also looking at crypto enthusiasts. So anyone, if you go to Twitter right now, if you follow NFTs and such topics, you'll see that there's a lot of people asking to drop your NFT asset, how much they are ready to spend, what type of assets they are looking to buy. And we believe that we can also
Evelyn, hello.
Frozen in time.
Yeah, I think she got frozen. We can still wait some time.
That's just an amazing concept, NFT for fashion. It's
yes,
amazing how it works these days. It's
NFT and metaverse. Yes.
I love the idea.
Hello.
Yes, Evelyn, now we can hear you. I think we lost you in between.
I'm
so maybe
sorry.
You can.
I have some technical issues.
No worries.
You can...
Don't worry. You can go to previous slide if you want to say something, or you can go ahead. Feel free to.
Okay, I'm just going to continue. So the market opportunity is great. So digital assets, direct to avatar is reaching 50 billion and virtual events 770 billion. And we are tapping into those both areas. And our revenue model, we take 20% of all the sales in the marketplace. We have NFT, land, sale, and rent. And we have subscription cost for our users and hosting events. So fashion and music scene, essentially. So everyone digital village starts as a villagers, and they can, based on the time and efforts and money they want to invest in the platform, upgrade to become a vendor and collaborate with farmers. So basically develop their games, create content in terms of events, virtual experiences, games, educational content, digital assets, avatars, 3D fashion assets, toolkits, and so on. And so we have aimed to create an ecosystem that really basically lives in symbiosis and really sort of functions and sustain itself in a sustainable way. And this is our team. So I'm the CEO and founder. We have Adnan for head of marketplace. We have Dustin working as our Unreal developer with our other developers. We have Praveen, our project manager, Cornell, digital producer, and Ronak working with our blockchain village protocol technology and our blockchain team. And this is our advisory board. So we have Sarah Maino, deputy editor in chief and head of Vogue Italy and Vogue Talents, Tubador Panar from Metaverse Fund, Sebastian Borgay, co-founder of Sandbox Game, president of Blockchain Game Alliance, and Christine Goulet, and so on, amazing fashion and tech and governmental people. So we got just selected as one of the top 10 blockchain technologies from over 130 applicants to receive a grant and mentorship from Blockstart. We received an Epic Games mega grants, and we were just selected as top 11 companies in France to join the national finals of Climate Launchpad. And we are right now during our pre-seed funding closing 15th of September, searching to raise 500,000 euros at 5 million valuation. We do accept a pool of investors as well and syndicates. So for us, it's really important to have an investor on board that actually values sustainability and understand it's important in creating these digital spaces, as they have a very big impact also to our physical lifestyles. And we hope to have active investors that can actively advise us. Thank you. Do I still have any time left?
Sure. You have some time left. So thank you, Evelyn, for the presentation. Before we move into Q&A session, I would like to ask a jury member. I shared the jury voting sheet yesterday via email. So if you can please give the ratings. In meanwhile, I would like to ask my colleague Alexandra if we do the audience poll, and in meantime we can also start with questions. Yeah, and last one from my side, if you're also building amazing blockchain-based startups, then I'm sharing our LinkedIn link on chat box for the audience. So feel free to reach out to us, subscribe to our channel, and also reach out to us if you're looking for funding. Then I would like to ask now jury member if you have some question for Evelyn.
Thanks for that, Evelyn. I have actually done a little bit of work with, I think you could probably describe them as a digital fashion house that merges science and technology with physical coat couture, but also do kind of digital only ready to wear. Kind of blows my mind, this stuff. But my question is, you mentioned kind of several areas of the business model. So marketplaces, the NFT, land for sale, and rent. What elements of your business is the most active right now with customers?
Yeah, that's a great question. So definitely NFTs. We have created 300 plus assets that we're about to drop end of September. So that's definitely that. There's a lot of problems when it comes to NFTs since there is no utility right now. And there's a lot of already existing NFTs out there or digital assets that these artists want to mint as NFTs, but they also want to have sustainable platforms and really offer their products for a long time perspective, create supply chains around those assets and really give value to their customers. So that's Digital Village basically. So we have a long waiting list and already 300 assets to drop. So that's the first thing for sure.
Mm-hmm. Sorry to interrupt you, Sarah, but I shared the link. I'm still missing your results. So if you can please rate. And we still have one room for one more question. So maybe Pranav or Wolfgang, if you have some question.
Evelyn, is this like an sort of an Etsy for NFTs, or how would you describe it in a very simple term like the Amazon off or whatever?
Yeah, I would say that it's since I find fashion as, I consult governments, right? I use fashion as an example how it is everything about history, culture, religion, sexuality, self-expression, colors, trends, politics. It's such a colorful industry that I feel like it's about our lifestyles. So I see Digital Village, since we are becoming more digitally savvy and specifically focusing on our target audience, this is an extension of their lifestyle. So their consumerism and their everyday habits will continue in Digital Village. And hopefully how we curate this space will impact in a positive and sustainable way.
Okay, thanks.
I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. I think we are running out of time. So this is the time for the results. And that was like quite neck-to-neck competition between CurioInvest and Digital Village. But definitely Digital Village is a perfect, clear winner here. So congratulations, Evelyn. Our team will reach out to you later on for the further article and the post. And thank you. Thanks a lot, all the speakers and founders. Thank you, our community members, for joining us. As always, like us and share, follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn for all the recent updates. And as always, last word goes to Disrupt Network. Thank you for hosting our event. And last word goes to Alexandra.
Thank you, Saga, all jury members and startups for a wonderful pitch event. Dear participants, thank you for joining the event. You can scan the QR code to stay in touch with all the speakers today. We hope to see you in our upcoming events. Bye.